As the average hockey fan here, and a very winnable game tonight for the Habs against the Anaheim Ducks. They beat the Anaheim the last time they played them. They beat Anaheim the last time they played them. Anaheim is abysmal. Next to Ottawa and Edmonton, and I can't even say Arizona. Arizona doesn't look that brutal lately, but next to Ottawa and Edmonton, they're the most brutal team I've noticed in the NHL lately. Anaheim, every time I see them in the highlights, they lose. Obviously, they do have a few wins in their past few games, but pretty much the trend with Anaheim all season has been their players are too old, their team is too slow, they don't have the right prospects to call up, they don't have the right players down in junior to call up. It's just a train wreck for Anaheim. I'm not sure what kind of blue chips prospects they got myself. I don't follow Anaheim like that. But from what I can see, most of the pieces that they got are older players on big contracts. Like the Corey Perry contract is pretty brutal. Getzlaf still got some game to him for sure, but he's not nowhere near what he used to be. John Gibson is a pretty good goalie, but he's on a very bad team. And Ryan Miller has been picking it back up. Hopefully, he's not playing tonight, and it's either Gibson or Johnson in net, because I have a feeling Ryan Miller's one of those goalies that just always has the Habs number. It's just what I've noticed playing against him. I don't really know off the top of my head what his overall record is against Montreal, but I know usually when Montreal goes up against Miller, Miller plays good against Montreal. Anyways, the numbers for Anaheim, they're not pretty. 26, 33, and 9 is the record. They have 61 points. They're 7th in the Pacific Division. Their last game, they lost 4-5 to St. Louis. St. Louis has been great lately. Also, another team Montreal beat this year. I've had a few people say to me, Montreal can't play with the top teams in the league. They've beaten Winnipeg. They've beaten Calgary. They've beaten Vegas twice. They've been in overtime with Toronto twice. They've beaten the team I just mentioned. They've been in overtime with Tampa. So they can definitely play with these teams. They are a competitive team. To say that is just crazy in my opinion, because Carey Price, yes, he has fallen apart last year down the stretch, but prior to last year, he has a pretty strong record down the stretch. So I feel Rod Price, well, you can maybe let Niemi have a game or two at the end if you got a bit of a lead, but look at the last 5 games the Habs had, and even 2 or 3 out of the next upcoming 10, or the next upcoming 9, I should say. It's definitely a tough schedule for Montreal. Anaheim is their last 5 games. They're 2-3-0. Their power play is 16.2, 25%, still much better than the Habs, or 16.2, 25th in the league, still much better than the Habs, even though they're 25th in the league. The penalty kill is 79.5, so 20th in the league for the penalty kill, so it'd be nice to see Montreal get a few power plays tonight. This is a team they could score power play goals against. Their goals for is brutal, 151. They're not even up to 175 goals. They're clearly 31st in the league. They're a team that can't score, so it would be good if Julien was going to start Niemi, I would have been way more supportive of him starting Niemi in this game. Give Price the rest in this game, play him last game, because San Jose is one of the highest scoring teams in the league. So put your backup who's struggling in against a low scoring team who can't score, give him a bit of confidence, make him look like a hero in that game. It could probably help him a lot. But what happened is what happened. A lot of people disagree with me, think Niemi still should have started the game. That's your opinion. Everybody's entitled to your opinion, but for me, it should have been Price, and it really bothered me that it wasn't. Their goals against, is 209, 18th, so they're not so bad goals against. Their goaltending isn't nowhere near as brutal as their record shows, because their record is abysmal. Anaheim's goalies, they actually had 4 listed on Sportsnet, but at NHL.com they got 3 listed. That's Gibson at 49 games played, 18, 21, and 8, 2.92 goals against, .914 save percentage, and 2 shutouts. This was a guy people were mentioning for the Vezina halfway through the season, so clearly doesn't look like he is not getting no Vezina, not only because of how bad his win totals are. His save percentage isn't amazing by no means. It's not bad. It's just I don't see anything telling me anything anywhere near Vezina. I don't know how good he was halfway through the season. Like I said, I don't follow Anaheim. He must have been on quite the heater for people to say that, but I've heard a few people say it. Ryan Miller, 15 games played, 7-4-1, 2.39 goals against, .927 save percentage, and 1 shutout on the year. And Chad Johnson, 9 games played, 0-5 and 0, 3.75 goals against, .872 save percentage, and 0 shutouts. So I would love to see him in that against Montreal tonight. The guy has 0 wins and 0 points, period, in all the games he's played. Anaheim's leaders, not that great. No one has over 40 points. Getzlaf, 57 games played, 11 goals, 28 assists, 39 points, a -23, 9.1 shooting percentage for Getzlaf. Their second leading scorer, Adam Henrique, 68 games played, 14 goals, 20 assists, 34 points, -8, 13.3 shooting percentage. Henrique is a player I like myself. I liked him when he played, I believe it was in New Jersey before, but obviously I'm not going to like to see him play against Montreal, but he is a very good player. If you watch him play in junior, he was really good, and in the NHL, he's been really good. Obviously not a 30, 40 goal scorer, but he's a fun player to watch. Hopefully not against my team tonight. And Silverberg is their third leading scorer. 59 games played, 18 goals, 11 assists, 29 points is good enough for third on this team. At this point in the season, 29 points. They're like what the Habs were last year, just nobody can score. Minus 17 is his plus minus, and 13.6. As for Montreal, they lost their last game. We all seen it. The record is 36, 25, and 7. They have 79 points. They're still fourth in the Atlantic Division, and they're still clinging on to that second wildcard spot only because Columbus lost last night. They're 2 points up on Columbus. Columbus has a game in hand. They're tied with Carolina points-wise. Last 5 games, they're 3-2-0. They lost their last game last night, 2-5 to San Jose. Or 5-2, whatever you want to say. They lost it. They only had 2 goals. San Jose had 5. Their power play, an abysmal 12.2. Haven't had a power play goal in, I can't even count how many games now. It has to be 7 or 8 at least. 31st in the league. Penalty kill 80.2. Good for 16th in the league. Their goals for 206 at 12th, so they can score. Their goals against 199, good for 14th in the league, and it would be a lot better if Niemi wasn't as brutal as he was the past few games. The past 2 starts he's let in 8 goals in a game and a period. He's let in 8 goals if you add it up. A game and a half a period. Their price this year, 53 games played, 28 wins, 19 losses, 5 overtime losses, and if he starts tonight, which I'm assuming he will, and he wins, he's the all-time winningest leader for the Montreal Canadiens. So that would be a good thing to bring into their next game. That's just a good thing to bring back to Montreal. Even if they don't win, just to see Price do that this year is a big deal to me. But they should win this game. This is a game I really think, in my heart, 100% Montreal should win. The only way they're going to lose this game is if they come out super tired and super stale, and Price just has a stinker of a game. Because Anaheim is a brutal team, and they can't hit the broadside of a barn. They really can't. I've watched them play a few games this year, and they're just atrocious. As for Montreal, the Niemi, 17 games played. Did I say Price's save percentage is .917, guys? I'm not sure if I said that. Niemi, 17 games played, 8-6-2. He lost the game last night. 3.78 goals against, .887, and 0 shutouts. I had a few people on Facebook and 1 or 2 guys on my review this morning comment and say that Niemi isn't the reason they lost last night. Niemi is 100% the reason they lost last night. Montreal was the stronger team. They dominated possession. They dominated shots. They dominated physicality. They dominated the trend of the play. The way the game was going was looking great. Montreal was really getting on their heels the first 6 or 7 minutes, and then they scored that brutal hurdle goal, that wraparound goal, that completely deflated them. And then when they were trying to get back in it, he let in another weak goal, and then after that, he let in another weak goal in the second period. One of them was a decent goal, but 3 weak goals, .830 save percentage, 4 goals on 24 shots. You have to put that on the goalie. That's just my opinion. 1 second, guys. Yeah, anyways, guys, like I was saying, sorry I had to go grab my other game notes. I just realized I didn't have the Habs scoring leaders in my hand. But like I was saying, how anybody can put last night's loss on a team effort or anything but Niemi is beyond me. Because it wasn't a bad game for Montreal. They had so many scoring chances. You can put it on John Gibson if you want to. You can say a strong goaltender stole the game for San Jose. But to say Montreal can't play with a team like San Jose, I watched the game last night, and I've seen who the better team was. Shots-wise, quality shots-wise, the faster team. Obviously, overall, San Jose is a better team. 10 out of 10, I'd say about 8 or 7 out of 10 times they would beat Montreal if they played them straight up. But Montreal can play with a team like that, and they can be contenders, and that was a super competitive game. Montreal was the better team in that game, but they had the far inferior goalie. John Gibson had a .940 save percentage. Anthony Niemi had a .830 save percentage, and he allowed 24 goals on 24 shots. John Gibson only allowed 2 goals on 39 shots. So Habs had 15 more shots. What more can you say? And all those 15 were quality champs. Like the play by Barton when he was up the ice, he almost scored on that breakaway. Mete cutting the defense and coming and making a beautiful backhand, just getting his backhand on it to almost score. It was a beautiful performance by John Gibson. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Anyways, guys, as for Montreal's leaders, it's still what it's been pretty much the past month. Max Domi, 68 games played, 22 goals, 38 assists, 60 points, plus 12, 13.7 shooting percentage. So all good for Domi. He lost a plus last night, so he was a plus 13 last night. Now he's a plus 12. As for Drouin, he was a plus 1 yesterday. Now he's a 0. A lot of people are getting on Drouin, and I can totally see why. Talking Habs with Rick is a guy who watches a lot. He gets on Drouin. Chris Nolan on Hockey Inside Out absolutely despises Drouin. Couple other guys, like commentators on NHL Tonight, like Mike Johnson, you'll hear them say he doesn't show a full effort, and I can totally see why. People aren't going to respect the player who's on a very hard-working team where everybody works hard, puts a full effort in every night, and this guy wants to show up once every 3 or 4 games, have a good 3 or 4 point night, look like a hero, and then take 3 or 4 nights off and be pouty and sooky. So I can completely reason with people who don't like Drouin, and I completely see people side who love Drouin because he's a very exciting player, and when he's on his game, he shows he is one of the best young talents in the NHL, and he still is very young. He's yet to reach his prime. I think maybe they should get a different coach, a specialist, maybe a sports psychologist or something for that guy, have somebody focus in on him and really try and get him on his game, work on his work ethic, because he is a special player, and he could be super special in Montreal. He just needs to realize it and work harder. As for Drouin, 67 games played, 17 goals, 33 assists, 50 points. He's an even plus minus. He's a 0 on the plus minus. He's a 10.1 shooting percentage, and the third leading scorer has been who it's been for the past month. Thomas Tatar, 67 games played, 22 goals, 26 assists, 48 points, plus 16, 12.9 shooting percentage. So not much change for any of these guys, except Domi had a point last night, and Domi officially has 60 points in the NHL right now. So 20 goals this year, over 20 goals this year, 60 points. So far, so good on the Domi trade. He's definitely worth it for Alex Galchenyuk. I haven't been following a lot of Chucky. I wish him the best of luck in Arizona. I did a review on the trade about a month and a half ago. Haven't followed a lot of Chucky lately because he's a West team, and I've been really, really focused on Montreal. But Domi is by far definitely having to have a better year for sure. He's a mainstay in Montreal. Anyways, guys, hope you enjoyed the game tonight. It's 11:30 p.m. here in Newfoundland. It's once again another late game. Can't wait for Montreal to get off this road trip. These late games are killing me. I was a half hour late today for work because I decided to stay up, make a review, and I only had 5 hours sleep prior to that. I went to sleep at 3 o'clock in the morning, got up, made a review at 8 a.m. for you guys, and then I went to work. Ended up being a half hour late because the cab I was waiting for took forever because I would have had to shovel my driveway in order to get my car out, and the snow is about 3 feet high in my driveway, so it was a rough morning for me. I might try and get a nap in before this game tonight. I'm really hoping I am. Sorry about the choppy review this morning. I noticed I made a few mistakes. I was going on memory after 5 hours sleep, guys, so you had to give me that. Anyways, as for my prediction for tonight's game, I'm not going to get into the keys to victory because what Montreal has to do is give a full effort tonight. Price has to have a good game and just play the type of hockey they've been playing when they're good, and they for sure can beat Anaheim. This isn't a team they should have trouble with. My prediction for tonight is at least a 6-2, 7-2 victory. I'm looking for Montreal to put up a good few goals tonight because Anaheim, they're not the best team by no means, and they're slow, and Montreal's super fast, and I see that speed getting them a lot more chances, getting in behind their defense and just frustrating guys like Getzlaf again. You watch the last game, look how pissed off Getzlaf was. Every time they panned to the bench, Getzlaf was just so pissed off looking, and he was snotting out his nose like I never seen a guy blowing boogers out his nose every single time they panned to him, but he was actually doing that last game. Scotian Canadiens, a guy who I watched a lot, made a comment about it, and I didn't notice it. I went back and reviewed the condensed version of the game where they kept showing Getzlaf, and sure enough, he was spot on. It was hilarious. Anyways, guys, 6-1, 7-1, 6-2 or 7-2 win for the Habs tonight. I'm looking for a big offensive output, a bounce-back game. They've been doing it all year. You can't hold this team down. I truly believe they're going to make the playoffs. I believe it's going to be Columbus and Montreal, and Carolina's going to slip out. Just my opinion from what I've seen this year. I know Carolina's been hot lately, but over Montreal, I'm not picking Carolina. It's Montreal's my team. You got to have faith in your team, and let's hope they can make it and do some damage. If they make it in the second wildcard position, they're facing Tampa Bay. If they make it in the first wildcard position, they could be facing Washington or New York Islanders, whoever is going to end up first in the Metro. So I'm hoping for the first wildcard. I really am. Pull out some wins. They're tied points-wise with Carolina. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching this video. Don't forget to like. Please hit that subscribe button. The more subscribers, the merrier. You're all welcome to the channel. Feel free to leave a comment. Plenty of debate. Do you think Price should start tonight? I'm sure you do. I do. I'm sure he is going to start tonight. What do you think the score would be? And who would you like to see have a big game tonight? My MVP for tonight's game is probably going to be Galley. As many chances as he had last night, I feel he's going to bust out of there tonight. Anyways, guys, like, subscribe. feel free to leave a comment. This is Mr. Average Hockey Fan. I'm so pumped for tonight's game. It's going to be a big bounce back win. I can feel it in my bones. Go Habs, go. Over and out.